Worker man.
Monster on the beat, ho, Debo, Benny Rat, nigga, get a free throw. Man down, call like Amber Lambs, tell him free bro. Nail a nigga to the cross, he walk around like Tizo. What's up with these jabroni ass niggas trying to see Compton? The industry can hate me, fuck them all in the mama. How many options you really got? I mean, it's too many options. I'm finna pass on this body, I'm John Stockton.
We here. Sbtalksports and Sean Webb. Real takes over fake debates. Man, Sean, that was with West Coast. West Coast is West Coasting. Obviously, as you heard, the mix of Kendrick Lamar's diss with the corrupt diss. Did it? I think my head, but it played, obviously. I think it played, right?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I have to make sure it played. But hip-hop is back well in full effect. Salute to everybody who's watching TikTok, Instagram. It is your favorite two guys, Real Takes Over Fake Debates. I only play a little bit. I would have played more, but I don't know if they're going to strike us or not, so I had to turn it off a little bit quick. Shout out, the show is sponsored by Swift Energy. Go to swiftenergy.gg and use code RTOFD to get 20% off your order. Sean, how are you doing today, man?
Man, doing good, man. Looking forward to the second round of these playoffs, man. And yeah, man, we're moving through, man. We're getting closer to getting the champ.
Hold on, wait. I let my door open. Hold on 1 second. Oh no. I'm like, bro.
Salute Chris. Salute Tiff. Yeah, salute Taj. See y'all in the chat.
Salute y'all. Sorry about that. I had to close the door. No, man, this has been a great moment for hip hop, and I want us to truly break down and talk about that Kendrick thing. But it's Real Takes Over Fake Debates. We got to go through the sports first. We got to do that. And Sean, breaking news have just dropped. Breaking news has dropped live and direct. Real Takes Over Fake Debates. Breaking news. Victor Wembanyama wins the Rookie of the Year unanimously. Unanimously wins Rookie of the Year. I'm not shocked at all. I know a lot of people was arguing, debating for Chet Holmgren. I like what Chet has done this year, but Wemby, let's be honest. The award was Wemby's to lose. He was the most touted rookie since LeBron James that we talked about. He was the most sought out rookie. He's the freak of nature, built like tall as Yao, built like KD, hoop like KD, built like a center, play like a guard. That's why his thing was like he's from this world. That's why he had the ugly shoes. But how do you feel about Victor Wembanyama winning Rookie of the Year Unanimous.
I mean, as you said, SB, I mean, it was pretty much his to lose throughout the season. Not only did he come in and really live up to the individual height, but he showed why very well this could be his league in the next couple of years.
Maybe it's somebody in Minnesota that's speaking a little differently. Somebody in Minnesota.
Yeah, I mean, listen, you know, listen, you know, it's that guy in Minnesota with the you know, with
the real George son, the real son.
Well, he got, you know who I've officially started calling him Terry McGinnis because because you know Terry McGinnis's mom got injected with those Bruce Wayne DNA and gave him Bruce Wayne DNA, so that's why I'm calling Ant. He is now, his nickname now is Terry McGinnis. He is Batman Beyond.
I caught that so wrong, bro. I caught that so wrong. Terry McGinnis is Batman Beyond. Oh my! Look, hold on, wait, bro. Hold on, wait. No, that was a bar. That was a bar. You're not understanding. I know. I am a bro. I am superhero head. Batman Beyond is one of my favorite Batman series, and they were supposed to be making a Batman Beyond movie, but make it with the art style of Miles Morales, and they turned it down for like dinosaur version of superheroes. But the people who don't watch Batman Beyond, pretty much they knew Batman was getting old. They need another Batman. They sampled his DNA from a scene, impregnated this lady, and then her son was really Batman's son. But no, look, it possibly could have happened. Somebody probably got the sweater. No, but Jordan Papa was a Rolling Stone when it comes to Jordan.
Yeah, but you know, but either way, but the point is no. So listen, I mean, you know, back to Vic. I mean, I think he is definitely one of those guys who is going to be one of the faces of the league. He's got, you know, the charisma. He's got certainly the game to match. You know, the next phase for San Antonio is to figure out how to win with him, and I think, you know, they're going to be one of those teams in the West next year. I don't think they're going to be a playoff team, just to be clear, but I do think they're going to take the next step and be competing for a play-in spot next season, based on, you know, some of the upgrades they make to the roster around him. But the sky's the limit for him, and I'm excited to see what he continues to do in the future. Just for clarification, obviously Chet finished second. Brandon Miller finished third. Jaime Jaquez Jr. finished fourth. Brandon Podziemski from the Golden State Warriors finished fifth, and Derek Lively finished sixth from the Dallas Mavericks. So good rookie class. Yeah, good rookie class, and look forward and excited to see what these guys continue to do in the future.
Yeah, I'm excited for the next generation of basketball. I've seen the shift changes, and one thing I'm gonna say that we got to move on because we got to talk these playoff basketball. But what I like about these new guys, they giving me that 2000 vibe back, like Ant-Man. How they talking like, oh yeah, we cool, but I'm trying to kill him. I'm trying to destroy him. I want to be the best. How these guys move now is like, I think we might get that grittiness back, because it's like, we know y'all don't hate each other for real. I know we know that, but we want to feel like when y'all on the court, I'm not gonna lose to you. That's how I want to see that mask, and that's what I want back in the league. And I think now Ant-Man is like doing that too, and Wemby is showing a little toughness with them. They're gonna push those guys more in front of us because they talk the talk that people want to hear. They get the fans excited. But what also get the fans excited, NBA playoff basketball round 1 is all said and done. We got our next set round. Obviously, we had, I believe, only one game so far we played in the second round, right? It's just the Timberwolves.
Yes. The Pacers and Knicks are playing game 1 currently right now. So yeah.
You know, the score is to that one off top of that.
Indiana's up by 2 early in the second quarter.
And I think this is going to be a great series, but we're going to talk about that next. But what can you summarize from what you've seen as a whole from the playoffs? Like anything that you feel like you learned different from the playoffs? Watch the playoffs so far. Anything that you learned?
I think what we're seeing, SB, is what you do see in the NBA after a certain decade or so of dominance, you're seeing a shift to the next generation. These teams that are built primarily around older guys and older superstars or older stars are at home.
It's over. That time is over.
Yeah, and when you look now, I mean, you think about it, like, most of these teams that are left, their star player is in their either very well in their prime or just coming into their prime.
Yep.
So this is, we are seeing the transition right before our eyes, and I think it's a great thing.
It's an
absolutely great thing for the league. And as much as we hate to say it, there are certain guys who are still holding on and still trying to play. It's not your time. It's not your time anymore. It's over.
It's over. It's over.
It's over. And again, to paraphrase that gentleman you have on the wall behind you, when he told Larry Bird and Magic Johnson during the Dream Team, he's like, "Hey, listen, you guys had your time. It was the '80s. It's your time." But we in the '90s now. It's a new sheriff in town.
It's a new sheriff in town.
And it's some new sheriffs in town. So those y'all that was running the 2010s and even part of the 2000s, it's some new sheriffs in town, y'all. And let's get ready to embrace this new generation and pump these guys up, because we got some great basketball in the future.
Now the Pistons was not in the first round. They was the first person sent home. But like Sean said, what I learned though is like you said, the embodiment of the young stars that it is, and it should be the death of super teams for 1-2. Stop. What I learned is you can't try to win with 3 or 2 great players and have nothing else but trash around you. That does not work no more. You have to have a team. So don't gut your rosters. So for everybody thinking like the Knicks finna gut their roster for Devin Booker, or the Thunder finna get rid of some of their future for KD, it's not gonna happen. And everybody, because I think the oldest star, the star, like the best player on the team. I'm trying to think, because SGA is young with his team.
Yeah.
Luka is young. Ant-Man is young. Jokic is not that old.
Yeah, Logan's like 28, 27, 28.
I think he might be the oldest one, because Jalen Brunson ain't 30 yet. Tatum ain't 30 yet. It might be Donovan Mitchell. Donovan Mitchell might be the oldest one out of all of them. And he's still pretty young. So basketball is a young man's sport. But also, speaking of this series, we got Pacers versus Knicks, round 2 predictions. And the game is going on live right now, too. So I definitely got to turn that on in a second. After the show, I'm going to just turn on. Whatever I miss, I'd have to catch back up on it. But what are you expecting to see for this series? And then who do you got winning?
This series, for me, SB, comes down to really one primary thing, or 2 primary things, let me say. First, which team can dictate pace? The Pacers want to get up and down.
Yes, they do.
They want to run.
Yes, they do.
If they are making this a 115, 120, 125 a night series, I think that bodes better for them. Where the Knicks, of course, want to be right around that 100-point, 105 pace. They can score, but they prefer stylistically to play a little slower. So which team can really dictate their pace of each game in the series? And then the second thing for me is if the games are close, I think that benefits the Knicks more because they have a bona fide closer.
Yes.
The Pacers really don't have that necessarily.
I don't know. I think he can. He learned it though.
Not at the level of Brunson is what I mean.
Oh no, of course not. No.
Yeah, and so it's so I think it's for the Pacers. You want to be up. You want to kind of be dominating if possible. And then the other piece for me is the Pacers bench score as well. The Knicks don't get a lot of scoring from their bench. Can the Knicks get enough scoring from their bench to help? And then the other thing is, the last piece of this series for me is Pascal Siakam. You're an all-star. You're an all-star. The first 2 games of the Milwaukee series, you look like the best player in the series and easily a top 2 or 3 player in the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
The last 4 games of that series, he was pretty much non-existent, and they were able to pull it out. They will not beat the Knicks if Pascal Siakam does not show up consistently in this series.
Right.
So that's the key. Pascal Siakam, you want the max contract. This is where you earn your money.
Yes.
In this series. No disrespect to OG Anunoby, but y'all played together. You should be cooking in this series because you know him. So you got to show up for the Pacers to have a chance to win this series. And then I guess one last thing is the boards. Which team can the Knicks are a very good rebounding team. Can the Pacers get 4 or 5 guys on the boards like the Knicks do and keep the rebounding numbers within reason?
Josh Hart gonna get you about 12. Hart gonna get you about 12.
Right.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And for me, this series gonna come down to a lot of things too. One, I watch, like I said, I don't watch Tibbs with the way style of play that he led teams with the heavy guard, ball control, get a team to East Coast fight, but at some point it's gonna run out because it's hard to win like that. Yes, those guys do different things too with the Josh Harts, DiVincenzo's, of the world. They fit in different places and add different things. For me, the series gonna come down to not necessarily patience. I just feel like who's going to have a better defensive stance on the star players, and then who is going to do better as the other guys, not just Tyrese Halliburton and Pascal Siakam. What those other guys are going to do, because I think at some point you're gonna null and void the other guys. So I mean, the main guys, and somebody else going to have to show up. Is it Josh Hart? Josh Hart going to give you a 20 and 15 game? Is it possible for him to do that? I don't know. I think he could do it because the chemistry that those guys have from Villanova, and Tibbs' defense is not going to be no slouch. But like you said with the Pacers, if they could get up and down and play their style of basketball and get the Knicks trying to shoot themselves in and out the game, but if the Pacers are slow, I believe so too also. But if I had to pick, I think this series going 6 or 7 for sure.
Mm-hmm.
I got the Pacers at 7.
Yeah, I think if the Pacers win the series, they got to win it in 6. I don't know if they can win a game 7 in Madison Square Garden.
That'll be tough.
Yeah, it'd be very tough. So I think the Pacers, if you're going to win, you got to close out on your home floor. You got to win it in 6. And the best way to do that is to win game 1.
Yes.
Get game 1. They're playing pretty well right now. They're moving the ball, which, again, that's very much Indiana basketball. They want to move the ball. They want the ball snapping. They want to make New York's defense be very shift heavy, constantly moving, constantly working. They're doing that so far right now. So, and also I think, one of the matches I'm going to be looking for in this series in particular is the Pacers probably got 3 guys they're going to have guarding Jalen Brunson primarily. Nesmith, excuse me, and McConnell, TJ McConnell. So,
they got bodies to throw at him.
They got bodies to throw at him. And again, you understand Jalen Brunson is great. He's gonna get his numbers. Yeah. Can you make him inefficient? Can you take, away? Because I don't think they're gonna double him. I think they really want to make him more of a scorer and less a playmaker. Can they stay home on DiVincenzo? Can they stay home on Josh Hart when he's hitting shots? What is Anunoby going to get a Knicks? So I think this is a very good matchup for the Pacers, in this series. And then Miles Turner, you cannot match Isaiah Hartenstein. You got to come to play. You got to come to play. And and again, I don't think Hartenstein wants to be away from the basket in this series. I think he wants to obviously be more in drop and close to help with rim protection. Miles Turner got to hit shots. If he's at the top of the key and he's got that wide open, he's got to hit shots. He's gonna have he has to make them think twice about how they're playing that coverage. So gonna be a good series.
It's gonna be a good series. Also, I want to shout out Buddy Gas Streams in the kick chat. He said, "Stay on the ground, bro. Y'all gonna make it. I'll be lurking. Much love." And he said, "The Kick Fam logo. Appreciate you. Go. How you in the Kick talking spec too? Appreciate you. How you going both chats talking crazy? Now on to the next round too. This one right here, by far gonna be
right here.
This series right here. This series right here, Sean, is by far gonna be the best series we gonna get in the second round. And I stand on when I say this: the winner of the Timberwolves versus the Nuggets series going to the finals. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. They got the gameplay, flow style, offense and defense. They got the star power. They got the wing defenders. They got the big defenders in the paint. I get the Nuggets credit. I get Eric Gordon's credit. I was for it, but no, obviously compared to Minnesota got them on rim protection. But they have the it factor in any category. In the most important categories to win a championship. Defense, check the box. Well-ran offense. Great coaching. Both sides been great. I don't know. I truly don't know. And this one thing, two things gonna come from this series. And one thing is just automatically here. Ant-Man is gonna become a superstar, top 10, top 5 player locked after this series, regardless. He's gonna be solidified as a star. And if Jokic get it done in Denver, I don't see the other team beating him. I can't see the Mavericks. Thunder is not experienced enough, and ain't nobody in the East gonna beat him. And this is gonna just solidify Jokic. I feel like this is the finals right here. This is the finals. I don't know if the Timberwolves can beat Boston. Maybe that's 50-50, but I think they could probably still get it done. But this is what I said. This series right here, the finals. One thing I learned from this series though is that Minnesota defense is more than real. It's elite, Sean. Did you know they beat Denver 3 times this year?
Yes.
And every time they beat them, they had them under 100 points. Man, this is the Jokic ran offense that Jamal and Murray pick and roll. It's not going to work on Minnesota like it did the Lakers because they got great wing defenders. McDaniels going to lock down. Even Sean, I still be in amazement when I see this from him. Gobert is not a liability when you put him on the island no more. I don't know what happened to him. I don't know what Ant-Man gassed him up. I don't know what happened. Whereas, like, Steve, you give Gobert out on the pick roll as fried chicken. I ain't saying that he Kawhi Leonard on the perimeter, but you know what I'm saying? He's not a liability no more. So I don't be putting that much effort. He putting more effort into it. And then also you got the Minnesota Timberwolves, where I'm looking at these guys. They can do so many different lineup styles. They can compete with anybody. They can go big. They can go small. They can slow the game down. They can speed the pace. They can do everything. Same thing with Denver too, because Jokic is pretty much the point guard. I truly don't know, but if I had to pick, and I think this is where the problem will come into play for Minnesota, because Jokic and them boys gonna figure out their defense. What's going to be Minnesota's counterpunch when Denver figure out their defense? Because Denver is going to figure it out and how to kind of like maneuver and get there. They're going to get the floor of their game plan going. But if I had to pick, and I'm 50-50 on it, and I'm debating on changing it, I got Denver in 7.
I have Denver in 7. No, Minnesota obviously won game 1 Saturday night. I still have Denver in 7 as well. I think this series is so I know I would make the Jordan comparison to Ant. This series for Ant to me, and it's not apples to apples, but Jordan had to learn how to get past the Pistons. Like a couple years they played in the playoffs, and even when he was great, they still had that team had to learn how to beat that Pistons team. This to me is Minnesota's Pistons. That they got a lot of talent. They got this great player who can take over a game in moments, but it's the total team, particularly the starting 5 of Denver, that I think propels them in this series. While I believe Minnesota certainly has the better bench, I think Minnesota I'll say they have a good problem, and the good problem is at times in the fourth quarter, who do they play? Do they play Nas Reed with Karl Anthony Towns? Do they play Nas Reed with Gobert? Do they play, their normal, starting power forward and center together? So it's a really good problem to have, but at times they may have to wrestle with that a little bit in this series. And also I think too, in this series for me, because Jamal Murray has not played well in the playoffs, and we know he's hit a couple game winners. I get that. Nobody's taking away from that part of it. But I think the big thing with him is that he is shooting less than 40% in the playoffs. That's not good. That's not winning. So I think in this series, you got to see the emergence of Michael Porter Jr. They're really probably the number 2 scorer, giving them 23, 24 points a game every night. And making Minnesota really think about how they're guarding him. I thought Minnesota did a great job in the first half Saturday night of blitzing Murray more, making him work on both ends of the floor, testing that leg out. And so, we'll see if they employ that same strategy throughout the entire series. But, it took for me, it's hard for me to pick against the champ.
It's hard. But I think Minnesota, if any team can pull it off, it could be Minnesota. But Sean, I want to tip my hat to you and give you credit for something, because I think a lot of people are pointing because Ed is the star. So every time a star do something, the star will get the credit. But you said something that I need to find the show, and I need to find what episode it was, and I need to clip it. You tipped your head to Mike Conley, because everybody was like, shout out Ed-Man. Ed-Man got the Rudy Gobert situation to work. It wasn't Ed-Man, because Ed-Man and Rudy Gobert, before Conley got there, couldn't work, and they was complaining about each other. They couldn't get their game together. Who put it together for Minnesota was the addition of Mike Conley. And Sean, nobody said that but you. Everybody else gave Ed-Man the credit. When they were saying, I'm like, bro, no, he didn't, bro. Because I'm like, they literally played together before Conley was there, and it did not work. It looked terrible. And all y'all was saying Rudy Gobert was the worst trade, worst signing that they did because it didn't work. Oh, now it looks so well because they added Mike Conley, the point guard, the initiator, got everything together. Mike Conley addition was the reason why everything was. So I want to tip my hat to you on that shot, because you was the only person who said that I heard said it. Now, speaking of Sean, your team, let's go ahead, get into it. So Jimmy Butler was outside the bar. Hey, if I was playing, the Knicks and the Celtics would have been out. Or he said whatever the team, they'd have been out. So obviously that comes back to Pat Riley. Pat Riley said he believed that Jimmy Butler can lead the Heat to a title. Sean, in my honest opinion, it's the same thing we talk about stars getting older, and Jimmy does cook in the playoffs. I do that. But they could probably win a title with Jimmy on the team. But it's time to give Bam the keys. It's time to you ever see like the shows or the animes where they're like the dude with the super strong powers, they got to put like the braces on him to contain his power. It's time to unleash Bam full game potential, because Bam can do the same thing Jokic is doing. Bam could be an offensive threat in any way, shape, or form. He could probably work on his jumper a little bit more, add a couple moves to his arsenal. I would love to see him add more post work. But he's still young. He can add everything to his game.
Right.
But I think it's time to give Bam the keys to this team before it's too late and let him unleash himself. Of course, you could keep Jimmy there, and Jimmy can be the guy to close that. But it's time to give Bam the keys. I don't want to hear that Jimmy can lead us no more. It should be Bam. Coming into next season, we should be moving into the Bam Adebayo era.
So I've been saying for a year that my belief is it is time for Bam and for everybody to acknowledge that Bam is the Heat's best player, on both ends of the floor, and that it's time to lead this team. It's not to devalue Jimmy or anybody else, but obviously you want a general pecking order, and it is time for Bam to do that. Now, one thing about Pat Riley is Pat Riley don't say anything by mistake.
No.
So when he got wind or got word of what Jimmy did at the I guess he was at the F1 race in Miami and made the comment, and Pat basically, and I'm paraphrasing, he's like, well, if you're not on the floor playing, you need to shut up.
Mm-hmm.
That's basically what he said.
Yeah.
And there's no mistake there. Mm-hmm. Also in the same press conference, and again, I want people to understand, when a GM or a president or a coach or an owner says we don't desire to trade somebody, or we're not trading somebody, it does not mean that someone cannot get traded.
Mm-hmm.
I want to be very clear.
Mm-hmm.
The reason why you don't say that in a press conference is you don't want to devalue that person on the trade market potentially. You got to say this person is important. This person is great.
LA, you can learn from that, Lakers.
Yeah. So you don't do that, right? My belief, if Jimmy asked for the max extension this offseason that he's eligible for, to be clear, based on what Pat Riley said today, Pat Riley inferred that basically a max extension is only going to be talked about based on your availability.
That sounds like he's telling me you're not going to get it. That's what it sounds like to me.
That's what it sounds like.
Because he ain't been available.
Right. And, so now if you want an extension and you want to talk extension and it's going to be, team friendly in terms of numbers, that's a different conversation. Mm-hmm. So, I think it's going to be a very interesting offseason for Jimmy Butler and Pat Riley and the Heat, because they are going to go chasing for another guy and try to use more than likely Tyler Hero's contract as a part of that.
Oh, 100%. Tyler Hero is gone.
So, so I think it's again, when Pat Riley talks, what he says, you got to really pay attention. And he doesn't say anything just all willy-nilly. He's being very, very direct in his thoughts and with his thoughts. So just a FYI, Indiana is up by 7 at the end of the second quarter. I'm sorry. No, Hartenstein. Well, no, Hartenstein just hit a half court 3. So Indiana's up by 4.
Indiana's up by 4. Yeah, we're going to go ahead and get on that. To the next one. But I didn't ask you. Do you believe Butler can lead y'all to a title? Or yes or no? You didn't say
no.
Okay. Simple as that. Mavericks signed Jason Kidd to a multi-year extension. How you feel about it?
Not surprised. I think he's earned it. When you look at this is his 3rd year as the head coach. And, obviously they're in the second round of the playoffs. I think they're going to win the OKC series, to be very honest. 2 Western Conference Finals in 3 years at minimum is a very good thing.
Yes.
And also, they want stability around Luka, Kyrie. And obviously when you look at the run they went on after making that trade, getting Gafford, getting PJ Washington.
PJ Washington been cooking. So look, sometimes you gotta leave. So you gotta leave a bad situation, man. Forget the money. Go somewhere good.
Yeah, and so I think I think it makes a lot of sense. Also, what it is the market and the market rate for coaches is going up.
Yes.
I got to guess that Kids now probably somewhere in the 8-figure. It may not be at the Spo number or the Steve Kerr number, or even the Greg Popovich number, but he's probably somewhere in that 8-figure range now. So that's the other part of it. And with this new media rights deal getting ready to come down here very, very soon, there's going to be a lot more money.
A lot more money.
So it makes sense. And also, again, this keeps Jason Kidd in town and keeps the Lakers from trying to poach your coach.
Yep, because they will definitely try. They will definitely try to do it. But Jason Kidd better not. Hey, don't I don't care what you. If you in a good situation with the Mavericks, don't take that Laker job. That's you just go be just a target for nothing. You ain't got none of it gonna be your fault, and you gonna go into a bad situation. Don't do that. Stay where
he's got a great deal of influence in that organization. He and Nico Harrison have a great working relationship, and obviously, Mark Cuban is still there, albeit in a slightly different capacity because he did sell a majority stake of the team, but he's still very much, running the basketball operations and still very involved at the top. So, so I have to believe that, kid understands the situation, and also you generally don't leave a prime Luka to go
you don't leave prime
a team like the Lakers. Nothing against the Lakers, but
I'm taking it. Yeah. I'm not leaving Luka. Lotto said in the chat that I missed the Drake and Kendrick. Just said, nope. It's at the end of this. We saved it for the end. But also, I'm not surprised on this. One thing you got to do if you got a star player, he liked the coach, and you actually winning and moving in the right direction. You don't want to keep shaking up and rotating new coaches in your lineup. You end up looking bad, like how the Lakers are doing now. So I like to sign, like you said, well deserved. I think Jason Kidd has done wonders for Luka. Kyrie Irving came there, found a home in Dallas. He getting much love from Dallas. So, I think it's good. And they finna make a Western Conference Finals appearance again. So,
yeah. And to be honest, they are the preeminent sports franchise in the city of Dallas. So that's the other part of it too.
I didn't know they even had another team. What sport is it? The team to play for? I didn't even know.
I don't know.
I mean, because if you just lose as much as you lose, I mean, I'm just shocked that you're there. But 76ers, Daryl Morey wants to build a team around Embiid and Maxey. Sean, can I go first on this, please?
Yes, please.
No, duh. Who else you're gonna build it around? Like, oh my. Of course, Captain Obvious. Who else you gonna build around? Yeah. Like, who else are you going to build around? It's Embiid and Maxey. Maxey has just shown you that he can play with the big boys and keep up. You need to worry about getting Embiid healthy. Also, you need to worry about getting Tobias Harris off that team. Tobias Harris has to go. I don't know who gonna take him. You might have.
He's a free agent.
So. Oh, he's a free agent. Oh, I know. Look, I know he can't. He do not call. If he call y'all, hang up. He ain't getting that. But don't him go with. But yes, build a team around Maxey and Embiid. I'll probably look at like somewhat around like I'm trying to think what blueprint should they go for if I had to pick a team. I'm thinking because you could go to Minnesota route. I mean, you obviously say the Denver route, get a good wing defender, some shooters.
Yeah,
I think probably something like that, and then open Maxey's game up. And also I would like to see like a nice vet guard next to Maxey too. So sometimes let him play off ball. I don't know who. Yeah, Conley.
Yeah, well, let me ask you something, SB, because I think there's a good question about Maxey. I think we need to understand Maxey's a super talent.
Yes.
Right. You got a guy in Chicago that came in the NBA really as a point guard, but it's kind of vacillated between playing both the 1 and 2. The 2. Mm-hmm. To you, is Maxey more better at the 1 or the 2, or do you feel like he still needs to develop as a 1? Like, what are your thoughts on Maxey after watching years of Kobe White?
I think I want the ball in his hands, obviously, period. I think he still need more time to develop to fully see what he can be. Mm-hmm. Because and sometimes you just need the opportunity too. Because like obviously Kobe White was always good, but he never really had the opportunity, and we kept taking away from his game. And then at some point in time, he was like, "Oh man, he's not a point guard." The same thing you can say about Maxey. But if Maxey, with his scoring ability and his craftiness and the explosiveness as a young player, can add that vision and passing ability,
right?
And learn how to like change the gears, know when to go 100 and know when to hit. All right, let me slow it down. I think it'll take his game to a whole nother level. So I would want him to work on the skills of learning a point guard, but also don't take away from what you're doing. Like what was messing Kobe White up when they was like, oh, play point guard. He was too busy worried about getting everybody else the ball and not playing his game. No,
Right.
play your game the same way, but add those skill sets. So now when people do you get different type of defensive matchups. That's what he was getting. Now you can, I can drive, make that pass, or I got the vision to look, or know, okay, this is what this person at. So I think he will go to the top next level if he add more point guard steals. So I'm just saying he just need more time to develop for sure.
Okay. All right.
Time for a quick roasting session. Kawhi, chemistry, and a failed Clippers title. Because you know why? Because Kawhi's never there, Sean. And since Kawhi's never there, how can you build chemistry? And everything is going to fail for the Clippers when your best player is not there. How much, because we know it is, how much was a failure and disappointment is Kawhi Leonard's run with the Clippers, and how bad has this Clipper run been to you, if you think it's a failure or not?
I don't want to call it a failure because this Clipper team did do something they had never done in the history of their franchise, which they did get to a conference finals a couple of years ago.
I'll often say actually have a game where it's not more Laker fans there than Clipper fans. I mean,
yeah, I mean, listen, LA's a Laker town. It's gonna be a Laker town. The Clippers are the second child. They are,
just like my Chargers.
Yeah, so it's just, you understand. Listen, if you the Clippers, the Chargers, the Angels, it ain't your city. No. It ain't gonna never be your city. You just be glad. You just be glad you're there.
Yep.
It is a Dodgers. It is a Lakers. It is a Rams city. So
I don't know if it's really the Rams. Might be. They're still a Raiders city, honestly.
I mean, well, the Rams did have a history there before they
before
they moved to St. Louis and then moved back. So it's just the nature of. But I think the big thing with the Clippers at this point is just like with the Lakers, and the illustrious words of Avon at the end of the basketball game: "Be for real. Your team is old.
Yes.
Your best players are either at the end of their prime or very much approaching the end of their prime.
Come on now.
You got to understand what you are. Now, here's the other problem in LA. They can't be irrelevant.
No.
People come to see stars. They come to see the star attraction. That is what makes LA unique.
And they got a new stadium they're opening too, so you got to sell seats.
Yeah, you got to sell seats. And obviously they got Kawhi locked up long term. They want to bring Harden back. Obviously, Paul George, they want to bring him back as well. I think it's going to be some competition to keep Paul George, though, because I think Philly's going to be in on Paul George, to be very honest with you. And it's also, what does he want at this point? So I think it's going to be a very interesting offseason for the Clippers in terms of their roster construction. But, at the end of the day, this is what when they decided to sign Kawhi and make the trade for Paul George and trade away SGA, they understood that, hey, this is what we're going with. You go get Harden because Harden wants to be there, and this is what you decide. So now you got to live with these choices. They're here to extend Ty Lue so they don't lose him as well.
Yeah, better keep Ty Lue.
I think Ty Lue is a very good coach. You don't want to lose him. Still, one of the better tacticians in the NBA, in my opinion.
Yes.
But they got to figure out the construction of that roster and how to push it forward. So we'll see what happens.
For me, this is 100% a failure of a franchise moment with Kawhi, because at the end of the day, Kawhi is just never available. And also, like you said, the problem is, and this is where they're stuck at, they believe that you got to be LA, you got to have the stars. But you got four guys that at one point in time in their career was like some of the best players in the league. One who can't stay healthy at all. Paul George can't get you over the hump. James Harden's not the same no more. Westbrook, even off the bench, he showed Spurs is not the same no more. You're going to need a team. And if you want to keep a star in your city for a long time, You might have to go for at some point go for a younger, but now you're in a bad situation where you got Kawhi locked up. Paul George got to get paid. James Harden want probably the max amount of money he could get. You know, James Harden got to go down and back down to Houston and clubs and everything like that. So, I don't. If I was the Clippers, after seeing what I've seen, and I just lost in the first round, I might be trying to move somebody for assets. James Harden, where you want to sign a trade for? I'll see if I can get more assets. I'll try to get a young up and comer or try to work at that point because this is a failed experiment. I don't want to see this team no more. I don't think this team can do anything. It's crazy that they always run into the Mavericks too. They done played so many times. I probably hate seeing Luka. But at this point, and they lost how they lost the way they lost Sean is over with. The only thing that if they keep this team together, the only thing you telling me is I'm trying to sell ticket seats in a new stadium. Right. Besides that, nothing else. All right. On to the next one. Sean, JJ Watt has said the Texans, call me, I'll be there. So Sean, you're the Texans. Are you gonna call him?
Yeah, I'll call him to make an appearance to retire his jersey number. Put him in the ring of honor. Do a JJ Watt bobblehead day.
That's it.
But I'm not calling him to come on the field.
What's up with all these teams? Well, he did the opposite. What's up with all these like old players or teams trying to call players that retire, like Aaron Rams did with Aaron Donald? Now JJ Watt trying to come back because the Texans back good. No, JJ. What you could come do though, I wouldn't mind everything that Sean said. Just go there, mentor the next guys. Mentor them. That's the most you can do. Don't come back and get on the field. Chill. We did JJ Watt. You went through the injuries. Went through everything you went through. It's cool, bro. We see you. You forgot. We know what you did to Texas, but you was in Arizona for a while too, brother. We didn't forget about what happened to Arizona, brother. It's cool, JJ. I know you're excited. The Texans back good. They can really make some noise, but no. Just come there and be a coach.
Yeah, stay at home with CBS. That's where you belong. Stay with CBS. Keep doing your thing. Get ready for your Hall of Fame jacket in 4 more years. And
keep it more 100% agreed. All right, the main event, the coup de grace. This is me, Sean. I've been waiting to talk about Drake versus Kendrick Lamar. Finally happened after years of getting this back and forth. Kendrick, I'm sitting on this disc, I'm waiting to get you. I'm finna get you. We finally got it. So if we go through all the list of diss songs that we got, if you want to count like that, you can count like that, but he had a verse, but it started with push-ups, tailor-made freestyle, Euphoria, 616 in LA by Kendrick. Then Drake dropped Family Matters. Then Kendrick dropped Meet the Grams. Then he just dropped Like Us. And then Drake just dropped Heart Part 6. So, Sean, this has been consuming my mind. Like, I'm gonna even show if you see if it shows on my phone. Like when I was like really breaking, I got like lyrics from the song, and we was like breaking down what it's talking about. I look at things like the Night Like Us. If you go to look at Not Like Us, or you look at the timestamp say Burial. So these two guys have been going at it in so many strategical ways. But just your enjoyment as a fan, first question, before we keep going crazy. Your enjoyment as a fan of hip-hop, did you enjoy it? Honestly. First, before we start breaking it down and really getting into this conversation. As a fan of hip-hop, did you enjoy this?
Yeah, absolutely. My belief is the essence of hip hop has always been the battle.
Mm-hmm.
It's you got two MCs, male or female, that say you're not better than me in this, and I'm getting ready to show you why. Wow, calling out what I believe to be or what some may know to be is your nonsense. This is, I absolutely love it. And what I love most is it's going to stay on wax. It's going to stay in the studio. It's not gonna get to the streets because it got no business in the streets.
Yeah.
This is about two people who believe they are the best, and them, trying to prove to the masses why. So yeah.
For me, as a fan of hip hop, I 1,000% enjoy it. Still enjoy it because we can have a conversation. Like my cousin, he texts me a picture. He texts me a picture now, like, what this bar mean. My cousin's super Kendrick head, so I've been like on the Drake side just to like talk smack and mess with him. But it's an enjoyment. We send each other pictures of bars. We send each other videos like, hey, this what this bar mean. This what this bar mean. Did you see this here? This? Because we ain't just like, of course, you're going to get past the songs if you rock with it. If it's a bop like Not Like Us, you're going to get past that. You got to actually listen to what the person said and understand what he mean when he said. The same thing with Drake. So for you, what song from Drake that you like the most? And then what song from Kendrick that you like the most?
If I had to pick one of the Drake songs that I did like, The Family Matters. Of course, that was only for about 5 minutes until, Letter Beat the Grams came out, whatever, dropped right after. But listen, what to just put a fine point on it, SB, what I believe is there's one artist in this particular battle that is his central point is you do what you do well, but I'm going to show you why you're not at my level in terms of the creativity and the artistry that I bring to what I've done in my life, so
you're talking about Kendrick, obviously, right? Kendrick,
right? Yeah,
okay.
And so and again, I don't think there's a winner between the two of them, and more than the biggest winner is hip hop.
Yeah, for sure.
And people who love hip hop, and hip hop, if we're being honest, from a mainstream perspective, overall has been down. Really the last couple of years. This is bringing hip hop, I think, back to the forefront of the music and the music conversation. And I know you said earlier, it started with, I think you said first person shooter, if I remember correctly.
If we count now to these, say first person shooter and like that. But I would say, but it really, really officially started. Drake dropped push-ups.
Well, I would actually take it back even further. To me, it goes all the way back to 2013.
What happened in 2013?
When the Control, when Kendrick did the freestyle on the Cypher, and he was calling out rappers,
everybody.
He called out everybody. Kendrick has been wanting to do this for a while, and then obviously, Drake, may have wanted to respond, but then he got into it with Meek, and then he gets into it with Pusha, and blah, blah, blah. So the Kendrick back and forth has been delayed. But also, I don't think he necessarily wanted to go at Kendrick like that. I don't think he necessarily wanted to. Yeah. But now it's like
it's up.
Now you got to do it.
Yeah, because it did with it being like up as it got to the point, because they jumping Drake too, so it was like they had to jump Drake. But I was like, at some point, I wanted everybody to get out the way. Which, besides Rick Ross has nothing to do. He posts like 20 Instagram stories a day talking about Drake. Like, bro, Rick Ross, come on, bro, chill. You gotta stop. But my question is this though, Sean, because the artistry was great. I'm not as high on Meet the Grams as everybody was, even when before. Because I'm gonna have a question after this. I wasn't high on Meet the Grams as much as everybody was after like my 6th listing. And it's before I knew that Drake falsely did everything, which is crazy. The master chess move. Because of it's like once you really get past the disrespect stuff, like all he talking to his son and mama, he wasn't really saying too much. And this also was like it made Kendrick seem like the pot calling the kettle black, because you in the same predicament now with you being a bad dad too, because you're not really at home, you know, blase, not to go too much in the dirt. But does it hold weight in a battle, or does it null avoid a song if someone catch you up in a line, prove that you lying? Like, so the whole song he made it off that suitcase with Drake set up and the daughter thing. So does that null avoid a song in the beef? Does it do that?
Not exactly.
Okay.
I mean, you know, to me, it's no different than questioning someone's sexuality in a battle.
Okay.
Right. You know, I mean, like you may not know what that person's sexuality is, but the mere fact you're questioning it, and it's not that you're questioning it, it's the artful way in which you question it, using you know, wordplay, and obviously, you know, using you know, different I'm sorry, I'm having a brain fart, but you know what I mean, like using different metaphors and things, and you know, and again, I think a lot of times particularly with battle rap, and I'm saying historical battle rap, not just more recent, but historical battle rap, it was about punchlines. It was about, did you hit this person? You know, it's you know, and
you're right.
You know, and so I look at it in the totality of the music back and forth. But also, again, one of the biggest criticisms, if you will, of Kendrick, comparative to Drake, and even Drake has alluded to it, was you're not as hot as me. You don't do the numbers I do. You don't do the streams I do. You know, you don't do. And it's like, well, okay, let me show you that when I want to do the numbers, I can outdo you, and I'll outdo you by dropping right after you. And let's look at the numbers of Family Matters versus Meet the Grams.
Which I think Family Matters now past it, because I think it's Not Like Us dropping. Not Like Us I think it's at like 30 million right now.
Yeah, at last when I last checked, it was still, Meet the Grams was still slightly ahead on YouTube. It may be on different streams, but on YouTube, last I checked, yeah, he's at over 500,000 more with Meet the Grams than he was Family Matters. So I think it's a lot of it is just it's gameplay. It's you know, a little Ginsu Masterish from what Kendrick has done in some instances, and also again so the reason why I think people might not have been as high on Family Matters in particular is because Kendrick alluded to, here's what you're going to say. I know what you're going to say. And then Drake says it.
Right.
So it's like, you know, it's just levels. And again, I think what Kendrick is saying is, what you do well, the pop thing and the singing and all that stuff, you do that. But in this particular lane, when it comes to just pure MCing, you're not quite at my level.
To be fair though, because it's something, but also Drake did the same thing with the AI Pac voice. So he said, I know what you're gonna say too. So now that's another question, because that's gonna be my next question. Where I would say both artists said before they dropped, this was he finna say. This was he finna say. Does it still take away from the impact of it because you said exactly what they was gonna say? And they both predicted what both of them was gonna say. So it doesn't take away from it. Because Drake did the same thing. I didn't care, because I'm like, if you deliver it, great. I'm just if somebody comes out to prove that you lied about it, then I think that might take a little credibility away. But even before, like I said, even before the credibility was taken away, I wasn't as high on Meet the Ground. I don't think Meet the Ground is better than Euphoria at all.
Yeah, and to be clear, sometimes the delivery, the way you try to deliver something can lose the message. Yeah. The AI thing from Drake largely was not, I don't think, was well received. No, so even if he did it or was trying to do it with that, because of how he did it, it wasn't well received. So again, I think it goes back to, you know, the general point of, you have a lane. Here's the lane you operate well in. Here's the lane I operate well in, and I'm telling you, you're not as good in this lane with me as you think you are, and I'm about to show you how and why. Now, again, flip side is if Kendrick tried to do a pop song and sing, about, sing.
Cata made a pop. Yeah, it's 30. I see your comment up in the address. I just can't put it on the. I can't put it on the screen because you said the P3DO word. I can't put it on the screen, but I got to address 30 comment too.
Yeah, no, you're fine. So and I know we're getting up to time because I know you got to.
No, I got a little extra because I got a little extra time. We talking. I'm in the conversation now. Come on.
So again, so what it's when you talk about a battle, it's not about receipts and all this other stuff. It is generally focused on delivery, punchline, creativity in terms of your use of metaphors, similes, wordplay, all of that stuff. That's what generally when you talk about a battle. And that's what I think Kendrick tried to do. And again, Drake, I think, understands who he is and what he is. And I want to point back to something. Excuse me. Wayne, who you love, was on a podcast. Your GOAT was on a podcast with Kerry Champion some time ago. Yes, and he made the comment. He was talking about Drake, and he was basically saying about Drake when he signed him. He told him, said, "Don't try to rap like me. Don't try to rap about what I rap about. Don't try to cross into this world. Do what you do well." Rap about that Canadian stuff. Stay in that world. And so, again, I think what you're seeing is what Drake does well, Drake does well. And it's not that Drake doesn't have multiple talents. But what Drake does well, Drake does well. But when you want to cross into the lanes with these, and I consider Kendrick to be from an MC perspective, I consider him to be a unicorn.
Right.
He's different. But it's because of how his mind works and how he sees things. Like putting together a song or music for him is like this 10,000 word, this 10,000 piece puzzle. He's just a different. He's just a different dude.
He's a different dude. And now, because I want to show you with both songs, because this, as a fan of hip hop, this is what I like that we got. Kendrick made Drake rap. I heard Drake rap like this in years. Right. But also, as a fan, he got Kendrick to drop. I didn't see Kendrick drop this many songs back to back in years. So it's like as a fan of hip hop. And Sturdy, to be your point too, I'm gonna check the other streams chat too. But Sturdy said that's not a masterclass chess move, manufacturing a room of you. No, I'm talking about the suitcase stuff and him having the kid thing. He just addressed it. And then also you said hip hop is a battle that's never been about facts of bars. It's primarily about the way you deliver this. No, I hear you on that, but once it get proven wrong, it don't hold no more weight no more. That's what I'm telling you. But if that was the case, people just gonna lie. And Drake should just go on his next track and just make some next whatever the pop catchy song and just lie through the whole track. Then if that was the case.
Well, so let me dispel that just for a second, just for a quick second, SB. Right. And we're talking about battle. And when you're battling in hip hop, one of the worst or one of the craziest opening bars of a battle song is that's why you fat mother, like
I mean
now it's long been dispelled that he didn't, but the fact that he said it and it's still the way he comes in and that opens the song is still very much held in high regard in terms of how you view that battle rap. So it's not about necessarily dispelling fact versus myth or anything like that. The pure to purely insinuate that something like that might have happened and the level of disrespect that is considered to smash somebody else's
chick.
That's
crazy. That's crazy.
And to say it in a song that is crazier.
It is crazy.
So I think that's where you have to be really, really careful about, because again, all we're doing as the public is merely consuming it, and we're judging it based on how we're consuming it, but we're also looking at it, I hope at least from an artistic perspective, which is how did they take something and put it together?
Yeah. 2 times 5 said Kendrick never wanted to jump Drake. He wanted it to be a 1v1, but everybody got in the way. Somebody Cal Brock talking about Ice JJ Fish the coldest. Finally got it. Rose in the gym said OVO God. But but I'm gonna tell you what the most fun I had about this situation, Shar. Let me go to wrong button. To the first part because we got to break down some lyrics. And I wanted to go to first, we're gonna do Not Like Us. Shar, I lost my mind. I lost my mind out there. So let me move this out the way. So this part, I'm gonna show both. I'm gonna show the one I like for Drake too. I'm gonna go to that one too. But this setup right here, first of all, once upon a time, all of us was a change. Homie still doubled down, calling us a slave, rebuttal off when Drake did the slave line. Atlanta was the mecca that built railroads and train. Bear with me for a second. I'm going to put y'all on game. So look, he said that I like the setup because the setup for what I'm going to display was beautiful. And he gave you the history lesson saying like people who get down to Atlanta and colonize down there went and did what they did to get their money down there. Then he say the settlers was using us town folk to make them richer. Fast forward 2024, you had the same agenda. You ran to Atlanta where you need your check balance. Let me break it down for y'all. This is the real N-word challenge. You called up Future when you didn't see the club. Pause on that one, right? Because a lot of people didn't know 21 Savage, which 21 Savage he did stuff with. He said in Atlanta, he said until he got on being a rapper, he said everybody thought Future was the GOAT because in Atlanta, you only as good as if you played in the clubs. So he said he used Future to get in that lane. Then he had little baby, use your lingo. 21 gave you false street cred. Thug made you feel like you was slamming your head. Quavo said you was from Sadat. Tuche said he was good, but he lied. You ran to Atlanta when you need a few dollars. You're not a colleague. You were effing colonizers. The family matters, which is a butter off the song, and the truth matters. It was all God's plans to show that y'all a liar. Sean, I lost my mind during this setup of this lyrical gameplay to double back a history lesson and use it on Drake to say this, you literally doing the same thing that happened in the past. Because this obviously the play said Drake is more in tune with his white side than his black side because he mixed. But that was cold. What do you when you heard this for the first time? Because I know you heard Not Like Us.
Yeah,
what was your reaction to like hearing that? Because I ain't gonna lie, I lost my mind, bro. I lost my mind.
So the difference with Not Like Us comparative to 616 and Euphoria, and Meet the Grams was direct shots at how Drake moves. And by basically saying you use the culture when it benefits you, but you are not a part of the culture.
No, that was fire. Fire.
And again, that has long been a criticism of Drake by a lot of those who are in the hip hop game. So again, so it's not about color, to be very clear.
No,
it's
because Drake is black. Drake is black.
Yeah, it's about culture. And you can be genetically something, but have no inherent or emotional or environmental connection to it as well.
I agree. 100%.
There are a lot of there's a saying, and I find myself using it quite a bit. Just because you skin folk don't mean you kin folk.
Just because you skin folk don't mean you kin folk is a bar. That's crazy.
Drake
that's crazy.
Might be skin folk, but when it comes to this, he ain't kin folk. And that is ultimately what Kendrick and a lot of others have been saying for years. It doesn't mean he doesn't have talent. It doesn't mean that he doesn't make great music. But as it relates to the culture, which people, again, who hip hop culture has been around for 50 years now, are very protective of. Just because you skin folk don't mean you kin folk.
You kin folk. Oh, 100%. 100%. Now, to be fair, now, Sean, when Drake did this, because man, the part of Family Matters, I ain't gonna lie. When he did the first part in the beginning with the good kid, man, City Van getting the crush was like saying drop. Obviously, he was playing around. That part was cool. But from the part of when he went to the horse, the hearse, into this wordplay part, it was phenomenal. Phenomenal. Because Drake told Kendrick, and I lost my man to this because I like broke down what he was saying about Kendrick, which is crazy too. He said, we get it, we got it. The blacker the berry, the sweeter the juice. We get that you put gin in your juice. We get that you think you Bishop in juice. And obviously people called it Tupac Bishop, but also he was saying like how Kendrick tried to play this holy role, him being the bishop, saying he got all that. There was like a double play on that. He said, when you put your hands on your girl, is it self-defense because she big? Is it self-defense because she bigger than you? Your back is in the curve. You digging for dirt. You should be digging for proof. What she was saying, like because Kendrick, he did drop meet the grams, but he telling him right here, as I said, Drake did the same thing too. He's telling him like, you digging for the dirt, you should be digging for proof to make sure it's true. And that's why I was like, the next song that he dropped that night, Meet the Grams, didn't hold as much weight because he's telling him right now, I know what you're finna say, I know what you're finna do, and you should be making sure it's true before you say it. He was like, why do you move to New York? It's because you live in the bachelor life, proposed in 2015, but don't want to make her your actual wife. I guess the wedding ain't happening right. Because we all know girls that you actually like, your darkest secrets is coming to light. Obviously, the wordplay of he playing this super Family Guy role, saying that like he's coming at me, saying that like, oh, I'm doing all this crazy stuff. You're doing the same thing, and you not having you talking from a glass house and say your darkest secrets coming to light. Obviously, saying that he like white women, obviously. And then he said, it's all in your face like what happened to Mike. Oh, shit, it's all making sense to me. Maybe I'm Prince and you actually Mike. Michael was praying his features would, oh, this was cold. Mike was praying his features would change so the people believe that he's actually white. Top made you do features for change to get on pop rap and rap for the whites. That, Sean, that was cold because the whole point of saying like you live in this false facade and a couple pieces of change, you would change like the features of Michael Jackson. And then Michael Jackson biggest song where his features was changes. This went out like when they was rapping like this, Sean, I lost my mind. I said this is what I want to hear. This is what I want to see. But even for you, if you thought too much of it, didn't think much of it, how do you feel when you heard the back end of this? Because I lost my mind. I say, bro, he rap like this is take care early days.
Well, yeah, and again, for me, it's as a fan of hip hop, I want to hear somebody rap.
Mm-hmm.
I'm glad I didn't hear the I'm glad I
don't want to hear that.
I didn't want to hear none of that.
No.
So from that perspective, yeah, it's great. Now, again, this is where I take issue with Drake. Okay. It ain't about proof in a battle.
Okay.
It's not about proof.
Okay.
Because again, go back to hit him up. There's no proof for that.
You just want the delivery. You got to land the plane.
It's the delivery. It's how did you deliver it? Did you use wordplay? Did you use double entendres? Did you daisy chain? What did you do? And again, it's for me. I always try to boil it back down to the art form. Yeah. So while a lot of people want to focus on what was said, I want to focus on how'd you say it. And that for me is what I will always focus on. And again, I've always said I want Drake to rap more.
Because he can rap. Yeah,
but I also want Drake to understand that if you cross into a certain lane, that your car may not be ready for that lane. Because again, it's some guys in that lane that are like that. They are unicorns.
Yeah. Yeah. What was more shocking to you, right? And this is the last one that we're gonna say the winner. What was more shocking to you in this situation?
Mm-hmm.
That Drake actually kind of kept up with Kendrick rapping, or that Kendrick actually made like a diss song, but you could bop to it like almost like something that Drake could do. Which one was kind of more shocking to you? Honestly, both is amazing. Yeah. Anyway.
The latter, because what's going to be funny, right, is Not Like Us is going to be played during the summer at barbecues, at house parties, in the clubs. It's going to be an anthem, but an anthem. Yeah, it's a bop, but it's also, I think, whether intentionally or not, it is going to force people to really consider, are you really down for the culture? Are you really down for the cause? Are you down for your own edification and own life first, right? It's again, you might be skin folk, but are you really kinfolk?
He black, man. He's for the people.
It's Tim Scott is black, but he ain't kinfolk.
No, that's cool.
I can call out a bunch of other, so-called black in color, but you're not kinfolk.
All I'm gonna say is Drake ain't the one in the category. I know a couple that you're talking about. He ain't in that category, but also he tried to come in. No, he not. We're not doing that, Sean. We're not doing that, Sean. No.
But again, and this is a deeper conversation, SB. I want to be very clear. This is a deeper conversation because this is not about. It's a deeper conversation. Let me just say that.
Conversation. We will. But also because he pointed the finger at Kendrick, says he truly like that. I was like, nah, and then also with Drake too, he Canadian, man. They just move different.
Which again, that's a big issue with Drake. When he doesn't want to be involved, it's convenient to lean on he's Canadian card. And again, and hip hop is a very American culture. So when you immerse yourself into that culture, and again, specifically a Black American culture. Now, there are white guys who've done hip hop who obviously are not Black, but they understand culturally what hip hop is, and they are down for it all the way through, which is again why people may question Drake's connection to the culture, but may not do the same thing with someone like Eminem.
Yeah, but because Eminem, all rappers do that though. Because even with Kendrick with this last diss, you gonna go what's best for you is close to home. Because I think like if it's LA or regular hip hop, Kendrick gonna take LA. He gonna be more LA if anything. I think that's just a natural thing to just go where you from. So I don't think like Drake is just like, oh yeah, I'm Canadian, this y'all American stuff. No, I just think like that's just a natural instinct. Because Kendrick went full LA mode. Okay, I do what you want to do. I'm gonna go LA. But it's tip and tap. But I get what you're saying though. I get what you're saying. But I can 100% say Drake ain't. He ain't the other. He ain't one of those. He ain't one of those. He for the culture. But
no, I mean, I'm just saying, I'm not saying, I'm not giving you my opinion. I'm just giving you what seems to be the consensus from the forefathers and those who are very protective of hip hop culture. Yeah. Drake is not that. And it's gotten to the point where they don't even want to call him hip hop. They call him hip hop.
Hip hop
meaning he's got a lane. He does well in that lane, and that's where he belongs. And is hip hop a sub-genre of hip hop? In my opinion, it is. Yeah. But it also may not necessarily fit because, again, hip hop was about giving voice to the voiceless in a certain urban diaspora. That is not Drake. And so again, it's easy. And again, I want to be very clear. I want to be very clear. Drake can't rap about certain things because that's not Drake's life. What Drake raps about, what Drake makes music about is life. And again, it's not saying he came from all this wealth and all this opulence. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that again, we got to remember where hip hop started and at its core, why those who are very protective of the culture will consider him to be, for all intents and purposes, a cornball in hip hop.
But I'm gonna say you can look at him as corny, but we're not gonna act like Drake just been. He got raised here too. He was in Memphis, part of his childhood too.
Well, again, there's questions.
We ain't gonna just whitewash Drake now.
I'm just saying there's been questions about that too, SB. I'm not saying that he wasn't. I'm just saying there've been questions about that too. Yeah. that the Memphis and Houston thing are very, very questionable.
No, Memphis again, for sure. Houston, no. Yes, that's a lie. That's a lie.
Yeah, but
Memphis,
again, it's not that you're in Memphis. Is there any Memphis in your music? And again, when you compare, and I'm just using an example, there's artists from Memphis like the Ball and G's, like the 3-6s, the 3-6 Mafia, the Project Pats of the world. Shout out Project Pat, one of my favorites. But
Project Pat too.
Yeah, you know, all these there's Memphis in their music. It's in the music. So, you know, and so I think that's again why those who again are from Memphis and those artists from Memphis would not consider Drake to be a part of that movement, because that movement is very different than what he does and what he did.
The problem is, and then we got to shut it down to this, but the problem is with Drake is what Drake deal with doing that, because Drake tried to do that, but then people call him, "Oh, you doing it for a cultural benefit," which is not the case. Like I think he showed Project Pat love with like using his flows a couple times and saying like, you know, Project Pat is what he got it from. And I think it was one song with 21 Savage when he put the Project Pat in. Project Pat was in the video and everything, and Project Pat said he loved, appreciated it. And then he had that one video where he was like showing different places from his childhood. I think it was Motherfuckers Never Loved Us, that video. He was in Memphis for that. So he got ties, but it's just like he Canadian. But all else fails, if we looking back into it, who did you have winning the battle out of all the music alone? Who you had winning the battle, and how did you score it if you had to score it?
I didn't do that.
Okay. Well, you said who you got winning.
The winner is hip hop.
Oh, okay.
That is the winner for me. The winner is hip hop.
I can't argue that. I'm with that. We're gonna tip the head and say the winner is the hip hop, because hip hop is back. And honestly, now I think it's how they just did this. Whoever gonna drop next after this, you have to drop some fire, because people go just turn back and re-listen to this. But yeah, I agree with you, Sean, on that. The winner is hip hop there. Another great episode of Real Takes Over Fake Debates. We did a little bit something different, man. Sean, should we start opening up maybe more other categories too? I kind of like this conversation. Actually, talk about the Drake versus Kendrick.
I mean, sometimes it's okay to throw a curveball, but
Project Patty is on his album. Oh, okay, cool. Yeah,
but I mean, that means nothing. A lot of guys, it's a feature. That means absolutely garbage.
Yeah.
So what?
But yeah, I'm gonna say if I was to score, I had Drake up. I had Kendrick up when Euphoria dropped. Then when Drake dropped Family Matters, even with Meet the Grounds, I still had Drake up. But when after that last thing dropped, I was like, yeah. But it was close. It was good. That's one thing you say, like, and I could end the show by saying the winner is hip hop, because it wasn't like nobody just got completely bodied and whitewashed up out of that. But Kendrick making Crip Walking Dance song and spitting facts and history on it, I can't deny that. This has been another great show. I was too locked in on the hip hop conversation. I didn't look up nobody with number 73. Do you got anything with 73 on your man, Sean?
Oh, right off, I don't. I know there's a 73, and it's gonna come to me on the next episode. I promise. But
we'll back on the next episode. Appreciate you. It's been Real Takes Over Fake Debates. I'm SB. That's my brother Sean Webb, and we will see you guys on Friday. See you guys. Salute. Another great episode. Man, Drake, you gotta fight him, bro. At this point, no, I ain't like how he did you. You gotta go fight him.
Rucker Man.